Okay, in this video, we're going to give you a little bit more of an introduction, a little bit more than just a beginning introduction to Microsoft Whiteboard. And this is the app that's installed on your computer. So if you don't have it, if you search for Microsoft Whiteboard app download, it's on the Microsoft Store. You'll be able to get it and install it on your PC. I would recommend that you do that. The whiteboard that's built into Microsoft Teams is the same thing, but it's really scaled down. This version works a little bit better. And this version of Microsoft Whiteboard also works standalone, and it can share out to other people without any other app. So that's a pretty neat feature too. So you see the screen up right here. We obviously can draw things. So if I click on this and write my name in here, we can do this. By the way, this will work with a graphics tablet. I'm just using a mouse. And it's not really meant to work with a mouse yet, but they're going to add extra things to it. You can change the shape, the thickness of the thing. You can change the really cool rainbow colors. You can do whatever you want. Also, too, there's a highlighter. When I have to use a highlighter, I tend to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to choose a bigger thing. And when I scroll over here, I can highlight stuff and change the version of it. There's a really nice feature here that it's hard to use with a tablet, actually. It's a ruler, and you'll see me bring this ruler up. And you actually saw me off the ruler a little bit and do it, but what I'm doing is using the scroll wheel in the center of my device to bring this ruler up. And I'm going to go back to a black pen here and a little bit here. And if I draw a line now, it draws a straight line. And I pull the ruler away by unselecting it, and I end up with a straight line as I'm there. Let me make things a little bit bigger again. Once again, increasing the size and decreasing the size is done through a scroll wheel, moving things around, and you got to be careful what you have selected when you click on something. But moving things around is a matter of, I had the eraser, so I'm going to do an undo. Is a matter of checking off this box down at the bottom, clicking on something to select it, and then dragging it and moving it. That works for just about everything. And that's also a nice way to get rid of something. If you want to, you can hit the trash can, or you can make a copy or change the color and do all kinds of stuff. You can tilt it a little bit, so you can do everything that you sort of think of. So one important thing to note is this little button down on the left side of your menu that allows you to change between these two modes. Now, when you get into the second mode, that's where you can add a note. I could type out a let me do it right, but I could type out a chart, right? A binary to decimal or binary to hexadecimal chart. And it would look a lot better than my handwriting, and actually might even be able to do it faster than what I do it. So I only did that part of the way. Notice I clicked off of it. I clicked back on it to select it, and I can take and move it wherever I want. Remember also that scroll wheel in the center of our thing. We can scroll it up and down and change the size of everything as we go along. When we're in this mode, once again, I can click once to select it, and I can trash that line and get it out of the way. One really neat feature, if I click on this image menu, I've stored some images in the library menu. And a lot of times I work with these truth tables. I selected one of the truth tables that I did. I'm going to select it, move it into the center. I'm going to turn it. And now I put this image that I created, I just drew it, took a picture of it with a cell phone and brought it into here. And if I go back to my pen, I can turn around and fill out this truth table. Maybe my pen's a little thick for what I'm used to. Let me change that size a little bit. And I could change this. And I can put stuff in here. This is pretty neat. Saves you a lot of time in doing that. If you had to draw that whole thing on the screen, it would take you longer than you probably want. Remember, you have the eraser tool. Notice that the eraser doesn't erase the picture. It just erases the value. So I could put another truth table in here if I wanted to. Pretty neat stuff, adding pictures. Think about what you're going to do. You load it up ahead of time, and it's pretty good. The features are pretty good. So the other things I want to show you are up here. There's some settings here. An active pen setting, I have that off. Ink to shape it sounds like really cool. If you draw a circle and you get anywhere close to it, it automatically sets it to a circle. The problem is once it does that automatic setting and it makes stuff look a little bit nicer, you can't erase it after it's done. So I turn that off. Ink to table, you can fool with that. Object snapping. If I set the background, if I do format background and I set it to dots, you can see it here. When I move objects around, it'll snap to place, and it'll always land in a corner. And that's very helpful when you're trying to line things up. Okay, you'll notice you can post a link to Teams. You can send the results to OneNote. You can export them. You can send an email summary of what you changed. All pretty cool features. You can change the location of the toolbar. And those are all in the settings, and you made it there by clicking on these three parallel bars on the top of the screen. Now, the last feature I think that I want to go over is this inviting and sharing. So just by the app alone, you can type people's names in, and you can share them, the whiteboard out with them, and work together with them and do that. So I could choose a name. It searches the directory in the Stevens email list. You could select that name, and also you can see that you can change it to be read only or edit, and you can line up a bunch of people and invite them to work on this. The other thing that you do is create a sharing link, and you copy this link. You can send an email out to them and share the link out that way. Let me close this and go up here again, because there's one last feature I want to show. You can post a link in Teams to this whiteboard so that people can go in that Teams section and find it there. So if I click that link, it knows about Microsoft Teams. It knows what I'm a member of and what I created, and it's going to show all those options up here. You can see if I want to post it to the Chapter 3 topics of EET 128 class, I can select that. Okay, and you can view the roster of the people that are already participants. You can add more as you go along. There's some other features down here, undo and redo. You should take a look at those, and you should fool with all these features. There's a lasso selecting so that you can get rid of stuff. I'm certain there are more features. I'm certain they'll add more features. What I'd like to do is get you familiar enough with this so that you can work with me with questions, you can work with other students with questions, and you can work with the lab tutor as questions. Because what you're going to find out is when you're on a video, you're limited to what you can share and what you can work with. And I think this tool works pretty good. It's free. As I said, download it to your PC. It's well worth it. The extra features than trying to use it all the time in Microsoft Teams, which is a very similar product with just a limited set of features. If you have any questions or I find anything neat, additional stuff, I'll post that in the future. If you have any questions, you can get them to me. Hopefully that helps you get up and running with being able to collaborate and work with other people and ask questions and be able to make drawings. I'm sure Microsoft will add shapes and different things in the future. All right. that wraps up this session. Thank you very much.